So first, you probably want to install Go. There's different installation methods for every operating system, so I'm not going to cover all of them. If you're on Linux, you can just sudo apt-get or sudo pacman, and you should be able to get Go from the repositories. Or if you're on Windows, Mac, or Linux, you can click on this download button. And here you can find all of the downloads you might need. So here's the Windows download, there's the Mac OS download, there's the Linux download. It's a pretty simple install to do. Also, if you don't want to install the language now, you can also click on this play option here. And this play option will take you to a Go playground you can run online. For example, here, if I say run, it will display hello. So this is also where you can run if you don't want to install. But take note, the Go playground online does have some limitations compared to if you were to run this on real hardware. So, let's get started. Let's say you have installed Go. Well, next thing you should probably do is create a directory for your Go project. So mkdir go. I'm going to go in Go. For those of you who have no idea what I just did, I can open this up inside of my file manager, and I just basically created a folder called Go, just inside of the terminal, of course. But yeah, you can just create a folder called Go. Now you can just say Go init inside of the folder you want to create your project in, and you can say github.com or any version management type of system you use, and then your GitHub username, in this case Octoco, and then what the project is. So for every project you'd create your own Go init. Here I can just say tuts because this will just be tutorials. And this should be go mod init, my bad. So for those of you who don't know how to actually open a terminal or anything like that, just give it a second and I'll also explain how I can do this inside of VS Code. Now I'm going to open up VS Code in this folder so we can see what's going on. Also, I'm going to close this browser here because we do not need it. Now we have a Go mod file in here. This Go mod just says the module name, so that's what we did here, and in the Go version. This will also keep things like dependencies or packages that you'll need and whatnot. We can go through something like this in a later stage. Now, if you want to open a terminal, you can also go here to VS Code if you use it, say terminal, new terminal. Then you'll also have a terminal. Then here you could say go mod init and put everything you'll need in here. So it's the same thing we did here, but this terminal is just integrated to VS Code. However, I prefer having this terminal here just because of personal preference. Now, if you are using Visual Studio Code, you probably also want the Go extension. So right here, this Golang extension, it's the one I'm using. I also recommend you install it to give yourself some really great language support in Go. Now here where our files are, we can create a new file and call this main.go. This is where our main code will go. At the top, we can say package, and this can be package main, to signify that this is the main package that should be run. Then we can use this func and just call this main, and we don't have to worry about what this means. Just know that you do need this in your Go project. This is basically what Go is going to run whenever it tries to run your project. It's going to try to run this main function. If you don't know what a function is yet, you don't have to worry about it. We will cover these at a later stage. Next up, we can just say print hello world. As simple as that. Now, to run this project, you also have two methods. If you have Go installed, then you can use this terminal method. Otherwise, if you're using the playground, you can just click the play button. So you can just say go run, and since we call this the main file, that is the package main, as well as saying it has a main function, it will know to run this as our main package, because sometimes you can have multiple packages, so meaning multiple files. And Go will know the main package is the one you want to run. So you can just say go run dot, and that will run the code. Or if you want to specify, you can say main.go, and that will also run the code. Note, you can also do this inside of VS Code. So if I were to go new terminal, I can just say go run dot. There we go. So this print right here just tells Go, put something in the terminal. Just display it here where we can see it. We want to see some text. However, you'll notice my terminal design kind of overlaps with this text here. So where this text ends is where my terminal design begins. What you could do to negate this is use what is called a special character. We'll get deeper into these a little bit later in the tutorial. But for example, \n. So this print, double quotation marks, your word, and then \n. \n means new line. Take note, this is a backslash and not a forward slash. You'll notice my text editor or my code editor highlights this. And this means new line. And take note, it should be between these quotation marks. It can be anywhere in these quotation marks. So I can put it there, I can put one there, I can put one here, anywhere. But it should be between the quotation marks. If it's not between the quotation marks, then it will cause errors. Now if you run this, you'll notice it now goes to the next line before my terminal output is displayed. And as I said before, you can have multiple, so as long as you can do that. This is completely possible, so we can do this. You can see, now it splits the words, and then here it has a bunch of new lines. If you're one of those people who prefer not to use \n at the end of your sentence, or the end of your line, you can use println, which stands for print line. Print line will automatically add that backslash to the end of your line. So you don't have to use this \n here. Now this right here is also a very old method of using print line. There are better ways to print things inside of Go. So we can go here and say import, and in quotation marks, fmp. This can be used to use a lot of things inside of this package. So here we can just say fmt, and that should be t, not p, dot print, and this will do the same as normal print. However, normal print has the chance of at some point becoming deprecated, meaning they might remove it from the code at some point. Whilst this print will be what's here till the end of time. Take note that this is a capital P. In Go, capital and lowercase letters means different things. So if you're going to use a lowercase p here, it's going to mean something different than normal print. And of course here we can say hello world and add our \n. It's the exact same as we had before. This time we're just using the fmt package, as you can see there. You can of course also go ln, and we can remove that \n at the end, and in here we'll get the same output because it's the same as just saying normal print ln. However, it's highly recommended that you always use the fmt package to print line. Before we go on, one thing I would like to talk about is these escape characters. You can have multiple escape characters. For example, \t would mean tab. And in here we can maybe have something more like my name is Netsu. And in here we can say \v, which means vertical tab. And in here we can use a \n to mean go to the next line. And here we can use two backslashes to do a backslash. Let's run this and see what we get. First we get hello, then a tab, but not a space. This here, that's a space. This is a tab. A tab is basically like 3 or 4 spaces, if you don't know what a tab is. This here, that's a tab. This here, that's a space. So that's what this \t means. This \v means vertical tab. So as you can see here, it went downwards, a tab. So instead of going lengthwise like this, it went like this. So that's a vertical tab. Then here we have a \n. So this went on to the new line. And in here is a backslash, which we did here. You use 2 backslashes to display backslash because a backslash itself is used for escape characters. Now that we have that under hand, I want to show you another way you can print stuff out, because printing stuff out is pretty neat and it can help you a lot during your programming process. So you can go print F, and this means a formatted print statement. You can use things such as %S for a string or a piece of text, is, and then we can go $D, which means digit, decimal, or any sort of number, years old. So we're saying word is number years old. That is what we're saying. Then you can pass these in like this, Nick and 90. So this will now say that Nick, because we passed in this %S value here, is %D, that is 90. So Nick is 90 years old. Currently, you might not see the benefit of doing this, but once we get to variables and more complex topics, you'll start realizing that this printf statement can be very useful. So let's try and run this. Nick is 90 years old. And of course, you can use your \n to give it a new line at the end if you wanted to. And that's the basics of the print statements. Then one last topic I do want to cover before we finish this tutorial is comments. Comment is a line of code that does not get read when you run the code. So if I were to say hello right here, and I were to try and run the code, we'll get an error because it doesn't know what hello is. However, if we specify 2 forward slashes or at the beginning, then everything after these forward slashes is a comment and will not be read by the program when we run it. So as you can see, it runs without a problem. The reason you use comments is to leave yourself a message, or for someone else to leave them a message to tell them what this does. For example, this declares the package as the primary package to run, like that. The reason this doesn't get commented out is because everything after these forward slashes, everything after these forward slashes is a comment. But everything after, or everything before these forward slashes is normal code. So afterwards, it's a comment. You can also do it anywhere you want, it doesn't matter. So, I am cool. Oh gosh, I can't type. And we can even do another print statement here. And this one can just be a normal print statement saying hello world. We can run this. And as you can see, our code runs without a problem. We can comment out an actual working piece of code. So these forward slashes. And that will stop that piece of code from executing. So this is also very useful if you want to just stop a piece of code from executing for a while you're trying to debug or trying to test or trying to run. So these are called single line comments. Why? Because they cover one line. The benefit is it's a quick and easy way to just quickly add in a comment to tell someone something, or to quickly remove a piece of code without deleting it. However, sometimes you want to have multiple lines of comments. The best way to do that is with a /* and an ending with a */ like this. This can be used as a one-liner comment, so I can do that. That's perfectly fine. This is a one-liner comment. So if I run this, it's going to work perfectly fine. However, I can now split this up into multiple lines. As long as it's between these two things here, this /*, and //. As long as it's between them, This can last multiple lines. Unlike these single line comments, which once I go to the next line, you can't use them anymore. You have to use them again if you want to comment it out, or you'll have to use this. So if I run this, everything works fine. And that's it for the first tutorial. We covered how to initialize a Go package. We covered how to create your first Hello World program. We covered how to do comments. And I do expect you to, while you work along with us on these tutorials, that you leave yourself comments in your code. So once you go back to the code, you can read, oh, that is what's happening here. I understand now. And that's all for this tutorial. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all again in the next Go tutorial.